See whether or not my mic decides to hate me. Yeah, I double checked my audio, so everything should be good on that end too. Yeah, I also found out what my audio issue was.
Oh,
It was for some reason my microphone automatically moved from 100% down to 70. And I was like, that's annoying.
it's like I've taken it upon myself.
There we go. Okay. Intro. Hello and welcome, dear patrons, to the Tables of Tartarus, a chapter of Purgatory Corner. Today, our storyteller is Corin, or Jumpchain, and we are going to be continuing the tale of RWBY Jumpchain Terminal Season. Come on in, take a seat, and let your imagination run free. And here we are. Corin, take it away.
Welcome back, everybody, to RWBY Terminal Season. What we're basically going to be doing is just figuring out our stats and stuff, as well as getting started on the semi-final, or penultimate, if you prefer, arc of the Terminal Season campaign.
Yay!
So, going to focus on the stats.
Uh,
In fact, I'm just going to make this easier for myself by having... There. I have now created a channel in Discord called Character Sheets.
Nice.
Every time I try to look at everyone's character sheets, I have to scroll through like a buttload of messages because they've been sent to me in DMs. If y'all could post your character sheets inside of that channel so that I don't have to scroll as much, that would be appreciated.
There you go.
Okay. Sin posted his first, so I'm going to go ahead and open that up so we can take a look at that first. Now I can see that we have... Okay, looks like you already have updated your stuff. Your strength, you have a strength rank 3 bodybuilder type, so that means 2 ranks of strength and 2 ranks of endurance, correct?
Yep.
Cool. So with strength rank 3, you'll be rolling 3d6 on physical strength rolls as well as melee attacks. Your endurance, you're just going to be able to roll 3 dice on any of your resistance things. This includes anytime where you're getting poisoned, anytime you're resisting damage, anytime you're trying to endure getting punched in the face by something, or you want to tank a blow or trade a blow. If you're getting hit in dealing with poison, all of that's going to be on endurance.
Okay.
Dexterity pertains to fine motor control, but most notably it's going to be for your ranged attacks. If you're going to make a ranged attack, that's what it's going to end up being there. But there's also things like certain kinds of dodging. If you're trying to dodge out of the way by like carefully maneuvering your body, things like taking advantage of flexibility, that's going to be dexterity, as opposed to dodging through just like trying to move out of the way really fast. That's going to be speed, which in your case is 0. So you're not going to be the fastest runner when it comes to avoiding things, but your high level of dexterity means that if someone's shooting at your torso, you've got a good chance of being able to matrix dodge out of the way. Then you also took...
for speed as well. I know sometimes we've used speed to like what was it? Who attacks faster?
Yes.
Or
Yes, speed
can you
does...
dodge faster? Or can we also use dexterity for dodging if they're going at speed?
Yeah, dexterity Dexterity can handle some kinds of dodging. It depends on how you're avoiding the attack. For example, if you're trying to outrun an incoming attack, if like a building's collapsing and you're trying to outrun the building, that's going to be speed every time. But in the case where somebody's going to let's say you're in the one-piece jump and someone's going to throw a cannonball at your chest and you're just going to lean backwards to dodge it, that's very much a dexterity thing rather than a speed thing. Oftentimes I'll use speed to represent your reflexes. Whether or not you're able to notice something. Dexterity is your ability to respond to what you noticed.
Okay.
In the case of you, I believe that there will sometimes be cases where I'll ask you to use your sense instead of your speed, because you have senses that are beyond what is naturally possible for humanity. So considering that you basically have spidey sense, you get your sense to help out in that case.
I see. So dexterity and speed depend on, of course, situations and I guess just what your character do.
Yeah. Cool. Then we have the modified stat and the new stat. Charm is just your ability to convince people to do things that they don't necessarily like. You convince them to want things, to want to help you, to want to do a thing, or all sorts of stuff like that. It is your social stat, and there might be times where you're having some trouble coming up with a good roleplay way to handle it. And if you make a charm roll, that just means you get a big ol' advantage, and if you succeed on a charm roll, I will actively try to help. Since obviously your character would have found a way to succeed in that regard. Even if sometimes the words do escape us, especially me.
Yeah.
So that's what charms.
Good luck.
Yeah.
No, I mean good luck because I don't have a doc to send because I did everything on paper that I now can't find. So
I
like paper doing things because I math everything and I don't do math when I'm docking.
Okay. Good to know.
Hold on. Oh, found it.
Hey, nice. Could you get a bit closer, Mike, by the way, when you can, Wally?
I'll do that in a minute when I'm not trying to find paper.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Then there's the supernatural stat, which is a bonus to anything that is supernaturally based. That's an incredibly vague way to phrase it. So if you have superpowers, for example, your semblance, or maybe you have a Green Lantern ring, or maybe you have telekinesis, that is going to be using your supernatural stat. Supernatural stat also being affected by certain other benefits. If you have a lot of experience with a specific supernatural ability, then you'll get a bonus in regards to that. For example, all of you have a +1 to your semblance rolls. If you're rolling to use your semblance, you will take your supernatural, but you'll also get a bonus dice, which you can use to either roll an additional dice or re-roll something like a 1.
Nice.
So on semblances, it's right now it's 2d6 plus bonus dice. I imagine that as time goes on, we go into other worlds. You're probably going to end up with a couple of other abilities, so you might end up having to roll just a flat supernatural when you don't have a lot of that experience.
Okay. So it's your bonus for whatever points you put in there plus a reroll?
Yes.
Sure.
For semblances specifically, you get that reroll.
Thank you.
It is all numbers. Good luck.
Okay.
Oh, goodness gracious. Wally.
I don't do descriptions. Descriptions get put into stinking the.
You don't do Google Docs?
No,
Oh,
I never
that's fair.
Google Doc'd it. I said earlier, I papered everything because I was doing math on the side. Because
pretty cool.
I'm an extremely penny pincher when it comes to dictating my stats for characters.
Wow. I like it, just oh man, it makes me really wish I could start writing. I'm just gonna do that myself.
Which is a problem because it means Kane can't look at it easily.
It's like, what is this handwriting?
Spick and scratch that I can understand. I never said it was good.
Okay. So, taking a look now at Lynn's, we can see low strength, which makes
straight
sense.
over. Sorry.
Your endurance and speed, neither of them are particularly high, which means that you're not fast, you're not durable, but that high dexterity does mean that you're going to have a pretty good chance at rolling for example, in your case, if you're trying to dodge something while in midair, utilizing your wings and the like, that's probably going to be dexterity rather than speed. Meaning that you're going to be better at aerial maneuverability, you're going to be better at ranged attacks. Then appeal, you have listed as 1 directly put in. You also have the Beacon Academy for supermodels, which I think was free to everybody, which
Yep.
I'm probably going to think about whether or not that's just a global stat increase or whether or not it's a situational one. But for now, we're going to treat it as a global one. It depends on how good it ends up being, and we can evaluate from there. So for now, your appeal is functionally 2, thanks to that thing. Okay. Supernatural, as mentioned, is your ability to use things like your semblance and stuff like that. And having put 4 points into there, you are exceptionally good when it comes to controlling any form of supernatural energy. If you become a wizard, you're going to be really good at that. You become a Fate Magus, you're going to have some incredible control over your prana. And when working with your semblance, you get basically 5d6 or 4d6 and a reroll of the lowest, whichever one you prefer in that moment. So you have a pretty low chance of failing just about anything supernatural. Then we come to your senses, which, again, you have dark vision, you have heat vision, you can see radio waves, you have infrared. It's just, you're able to see a lot outside of the physical spectrum of humanity. Fairly warned be ye, if we go into any eldritch settings, this may backfire on you.
My eyes, it's so magical, guys.
Yeah, but as long as you're not trying to witness that which no mind was meant to witness, it's just all upsides.
Does it make sense? I feel like I should at least have one dice in endurance just in case I get to a
Yes.
point where I need that. And then I'm like, speed, it might come into play. So, if I'm not just using dex, I'm like, I might as well have a chance. If you have a 0 for strength, is it just like a disadvantage?
Not exactly. So the way that it works is that if you have a 1, then you just roll 1 dice as normal. If you have a 0, then when you roll a dice, you only succeed on a 6.
Oh,
meaning that if you have a 0, you are half as likely to succeed.
That's fair.
Yeah, so I do not suggest with your 0 strength trying to get into an arm wrestling competition with any JoJo's characters or anything like that.
No.
But that handles Lynn's. I'll go ahead and take a look. Oh, actually, before I move on, do you have any questions regarding the stats? Because I know you asked one earlier, but I want to make sure before I move on.
I don't think so. I think I'm pretty set here.
Okay. Then I'm going to go ahead and open up Culty Cat. Good old Katie
Meow.
Henderson. I only just realized that you have a whole thing just like classify. I haven't seen this image before. That's really cool.
I know, that's so nice.
Okay, so let's see. Body
Wow.
mod.
I love how you made it out to be like the font, man.
Yeah.
I love it.
Little
Mhm.
typewriter font.
Mhm.
All right. So physically, Culty lacks strength. You are Katie Henderson is not a strong character, it looks like. Meanwhile, endurance, you are pretty durable. Despite the fact that you can't give much out, you're probably going to be able to get kicked around a fair bit and still be able to pull yourself up. Let's see, you've even got some perks that also further back that up. You can fight until negative 10 HP. You gain damage resistance from physical damage. Katie Henderson is clearly someone who's going to be physically strong. Then with both speed and dexterity getting natural +2s thanks to the athlete body type, and already getting 1 point and 2 points respectively, you're incredibly dexterous, you're incredibly fast. You can zoom all across the battlefield pretty quickly while avoiding attacks of pretty much all kinds because you buffed both of your evasiveness stats. The only problem is with 0 ticks in strength, or sorry, not strength, 0 ticks in sense, you are not the most observant human being in the world.
Yeah.
Similarly, 0 ticks in charm, maybe talking isn't your forte. You may have a tendency to make people... You might have a tendency to put people off with your words, make them a little angry at times.
I feel like this just makes sense already.
It does.
In the charm.
Accidentally declare war against, an entire faction.
Yes. It definitely fits your character. And with Supernatural, you put in 4 ticks, meaning that with Abyssal Cuties, from now on is actually going to get to roll up to 5d6 instead of your previous 3d6, which we're going to kind of hand wave as being you have gotten a lot better with Abyssal Cuties over time. You are now just incredibly good when it comes to communing with your Grim. Not only to the point where you're able to control their bodies, but also to the point where you can directly interface with them and literally communicate. As if they were, like, for the most part, most of them are going to be animalistic intelligence. But there are some that might be a little smarter than that. Now, I believe that goes over all of your stats there. Do you have any questions or concerns regarding your stats?
Not that I can recall, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. Then I will go ahead and open up this image of Jax.
2 people with no strength.
Okay. And there's also
People
this
with
one.
strength.
This
It's
stuff is
okay. I'm
outdated,
sure
by the way,
Jackie and
technically.
Hunter can make it up for us.
I know.
To be fair, Jack's whole thing is, you hit me harder. I will hit you even twice as hard. That's his whole stick. He's not
Okay.
complicated, man.
Yeah.
All right. So from the seams of things, you put no points in appeal and 1 point in shape. With the change
Yep.
of those to those stats to charm and supernatural, that means that if you're not changing any of your other stats, you do have 1 point that you can allocate into either charm or supernatural if you'd
Yeah,
like.
let's go into supernatural. Let's be real here. Jack is no.
Not the most charming of fellows.
No.
Yeah. Understandable. And do you want to keep all of your other stats the same and have 1 stat in supernatural, or would you like to
Yeah.
reallocate anything?
No.
Okay. Makes sense. Your character isn't exactly hyper reliant on your semblance or anything supernatural in the first place. You're very good at beating the heck out of people. So
Yeah, Jack's a brute force person.
okay. Then I believe that covers all of that. Let's see. Before we move on, were there any perks or abilities that you've gotten in the RWBY Jumpchain that you would like clarification on at this time?
Overflowing aura for me.
Okay. Let me go ahead and open up the relevant section.
And then also dust for dummies.
Okay. So I currently have the Space Battles one open. Do I need to open up the other one?
Probably. Let me see.
Okay.
I think overflowing aura was the alternative to I should be dead by now. Yeah. So I think overflowing aura is inside of space battles.
Okay, yeah, they're both. Yeah, okay. One
So I
from
know
the student,
Katie
one's in the
has
student
that one.
section, one's in the drop-in section.
Oh, okay.
Makes sense. Okay, so from what I can tell, your aura exceeds limits. You have a lot more aura. It recovers quickly. Okay. So overflowing aura basically states that you have a lot of energy and it regenerates a lot faster,
Mhm.
which to me basically speaks of like you don't exhaust your energy supplies. You don't run out of energy during fights. You can keep fighting again and again, and you're not going to have any issues there. But perhaps more notably is that people can't really drain your energy because there's too much of it.
Mhm.
It's an ability that basically means that you don't have to worry about energy and expenditure. You don't have to worry about people trying to like drain your energy to the point where you collapse. Like if this were Konosuba and Kazuma hit you with Drain Touch, it's not going to matter. You're not going to be affected by it. Whereas other people might end up having to be like, they drop to their knees, just like the characters in Konosuba do. You can just keep moving and keep fighting despite the drain going on because you're regenerating so much and have so much already.
Nice.
This can then be juxtaposed with I Should Be Dead By Now, which is you get a bonus to enduring certain rolls, specifically physical attacks. Your I Should Be Dead By Now is not going to help with a psychic attack. If you get hit with a psionic burst in your brain, that's not really going to help. But if you're getting punched in the face, that's going to help out a fair bit. Additionally, it'll allow a person to continue fighting until negative 10 HP. I believe that's what I ruled it as. Yeah, actually, it's in Katie's sheet. Let me see. Character sheets, click in. I Should Be Dead By Now. Yeah, so Jackalope also has this, and it looks like I originally ruled it as resistance to all forms of damage. I am going to say that you'll that's no longer accurate. It resists all forms of physical damage and allows you to continue fighting at up to -10 health. So
I'll do that.
that is kind of how that's going to function. Additionally, if you're at negative health at the end of a combat encounter, then at the end of that combat encounter, you will then be dropped down. Not necessarily unconscious, but immobile. And that's just kind of how that's going to resolve. But during combat, you are good to keep fighting.
Nice.
I believe that solves... What's up?
Just so I have this written out right. Allows you to fight to -10 health and resistance to all physical damage.
Yes.
Okay, I'm updating.
Cool. I believe that you asked about Overflowing Aura and I Should Be Dead by Now, which resolves both of those.
Mm-hmm.
Did anyone else have any more questions about any of the abilities that you have?
Since you updated I Should Be Dead by Now, what about Stubborn?
Stubborn. Okay. Let me go ahead and find that exact listing.
Because
Okay.
I have Stubborn written as once per time period. If the player will be knocked unconscious, roll an easy E&D check. Instead, unpatch remain conscious to remain conscious.
Then in that case, I would say that the way that Stubborn will work is if you would be reduced to 0 or below by an attack, you are reduced to 1 instead.
Okay.
So if somebody were, let's say that you're 5 health and someone hits you for 30 damage, you're not going down to -25. You're going down to 1. This works once per. There's like, it'll work once per. I want to say day-ish, pretty much. Don't regularly die, is the thing.
Works for me.
Fair.
It also means that Jack has even more damage mitigation built into his kit.
He is the warrior main.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All you're missing is bloodwetting, and then boom, you're as immortal as a warrior main.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Did we have any other questions?
Semblances.
Semblances. Okay. What about them specifically?
I have mine as a tier 2 for specialized, but my function overall is just gravity. It says now it's specialized into reverse but it's like regular gravity increases, and then I guess the opposite would be relinquishes. Is that considered 2 types of functions, or would that still be considered just gravity?
One sec. I'm currently opening up the thing to the correct because I was trying to look for it inside of the wrong file again.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's called tier 2 specialized.
Okay. So, in the versatility subsection. Okay. So let's see, 5 different basic functions that a semblance can serve, from offense, defense, mobility, support, and utility. Which one do you categorize your ability as?
Gravity?
Well, yeah, but like specifically, there's. I'll go ahead and paste this into general. As noted there are 5 basic forms that it kind of applies to. As far as I can tell, yours probably qualifies as one of the last 3 categories. The way you use it is often more mobility, but it kind of does fall under support, the way that you've used it in the past. But I'd probably either categorize it as mobility or utility.
Mhm.
But in your opinion, what would you categorize that as?
I think I've never used it to block something, so I think it's mobility for getting around and then slowing people down or moving people faster. Is that
Okay.
technically?
Okay, so definitely qualifies at least one of them. You also tend to use it for kind of manipulating the battlefield and assisting others, being able to pull people towards each other in order to separate them out, to pull people out of the fire, things like that. So I think it would make sense that it would also qualify as a support, right?
But it's only con.
So yeah, from the seams of things, it's that
Yes.
the tier of versatility refers to how many of these categories that you're allowed to have simultaneously. So, for example, an all-encompassing semblance can be offensive, defensive. It can affect your mobility. It can support others and have general utility on top of all of that. Whereas something that's tier 2 specialized would instead be able to fulfill 2 of the categories. For example, mobility and support by allowing you to be able to move around more easily and very quickly, while simultaneously being able to give benefits such as bonus dice to your allies, but depending on how you use it. Which to me sounds exactly like how you've used your
That's
semblance to
support.
date.
Okay, that sounds fair.
Cool. Let's see, that was the versatility section with tier 2 specialized. Did you have any questions about the other categories?
I still have mine as long. So long distances, is that still like what 60 feet or more? Well, long is tier 4.
Yeah, I would say that rather than just 60 feet, you have very long distance in terms of it. You generally aren't going to have to worry about range. Technically there are times where it is out of range, but if they are out of the range of your gravity, they're probably so far away that the naked eye would not be able to perceive them normally. Like, there's no guarantee on how strong it will be, but you can absolutely affect people that are hundreds of feet away. Since that's,
Okay.
You took tier 4.
Yeah. So, okay. Basically what the eye can see.
Yes.
Not that.
The normal eye. The normal eye. Your eyes can see insanely far, so they're not normal. Your
Oh,
special eyes.
wasn't there
But
another tier after that one, which is like worldly or something like that?
planetary. It basically says it no longer matters. Range is completely irrelevant. But the difference is that, going up from mid-range to long range is a difference of 50 points. Going from long range to planetary is 150 points. Straight up, getting planetary is twice as expensive as getting long.
Oh, so
it's a big jump.
for triggers, I don't know if we've really been using them.
How do you mean trigger?
So I got tier 3 triggers. Like you need let's see, conscious effort on your part to
Okay,
use them.
the usability category. Okay. Yeah, you can call. It can be called on whenever you need it. So, there's like.
I guess that's what we've been doing.
Yeah,
Okay.
you don't have to do a whole bunch of serious concentration. You just have to focus on doing it. As long as you're paying attention and putting in like the effort to think about it, you're able to maintain it. So, like, it does in tier 3 trigger. It mentions that sometimes you'll need minor hand gestures or another small action. In your case, I'm gonna hand wave that on the semblance and just say like you're skilled enough with it that you don't need to gesture with your hands, but you are able to do it as long as you are putting in conscious effort and paying attention.
If I were to take what was tier 1 of pull up or space battles again?
Tier 1 on usability.
Mm-hmm.
Your semblance requires special circumstances to activate, and you're unable to use your semblance at all unless those conditions are met.
Never mind.
Yeah. The way you've been using it is very much
Not that.
tier 3 trigger. Tier 2 is where it's difficult to use. It requires serious concentration to be able to use it all and will likely drain you quickly. You'd be unable to move while using it or have to close your eyes to concentrate are the examples given. I don't think that fits with how you've used your semblance thus far, so it is very much tier 3 trigger is accurate to how you've been playing it.
Yeah, and I'm not sure, even if I was able to move points around, what would planet side even look for gravity?
Like as in planetary in terms of range, or
Sure.
so that would mean that you just need to know where they are. That's it. You don't have to be able to see them. You just think about an area and boom. You could be sitting in vacuo and you could think back to the hotel room that you slept in all the way in Mistral, and you could just toss about the contents inside of there utilizing your gravity.
Okay.
Yeah. Of course, in order to do that, it would be so for example, if you took your tier 3 trigger and you set it down to tier 1 situational, where you have the worst category of usability, you still would not have enough points to go move up to planetary.
I'm wondering, maybe I'll actually want to change like the long range because I don't know if I'll be using long range. Like I've used long range before, but it's kind of been like within the battlefield.
Okay.
So it's not
I'd
really
say that
long
the
range.
lowest that I'd allow you to reduce it to is down to tier 3 at mid range, which is that 60-foot range. You've largely been keeping it up there, but with the way that you've used it in order to manipulate people at a fair distance, I don't consider it close range, which would be like 15 feet. You've definitely
Right.
used it at a longer range than that.
I wouldn't want to use it at 15 feet anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? Yeah. Okay. I might think on death.
Okay. Yeah, feel free to think on that. While we are going over everything now, there's no reason that it's like, oh, do it now and we'll never change it again. Well, we can reevaluate these as time goes on, and if you find out that there's something more that you want from your semblance, just let me know and we can go over it. But in the meantime, are there any other questions that you do have before we move on?
I think I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Okie doke. Then in that case, I believe that covers all the stat and ability things that we were wanting to cover, meaning that we are good to go for now.
Cool.
Real fast. Sorry. If I take another specialized thing, which is like an increase of 50 SP, and like went from long to mid, and then versatility increased it to get offense, would I have like an additional maybe help on damaging with gravity?
Yeah. If you ended up raising, like, if you dropped your range down, you'd get 50 points, and then you could raise it from specialized to flexible. You could then choose offense, and yes, I would allow you to deal damage with your semblance.
Well, I know kind of it does already, right? That's the two powers and they rip apart, right?
Yes. At
That's
the
how they
moment,
use.
just to be able to do any damage at all, you have to be using multiple, or pretty much your entire semblance, since you only really get 2 wells outside of your own personal bubble. In this case, it would be by making it so that your semblance can function regularly as an offensive thing, you can just use one of your wells to deal damage.
Nice. I might just do that. I'll add on that one.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead and raise your versatility to tier 3, flexible. Probably you'll want to note on your sheet that you are fulfilling the categories of offense, mobility, and support. And make sure to note that your range is now mid, meaning that it's about 60 feet.
60. Cool. Thank you.
And with that, that catches us up to the current events. All of you are currently located inside of Vacuo. You've spoken with the headmaster, who has once again authorized the clown account on the grounds that you're going into the Southern Vales, as he calls it. Honey, meanwhile, has decided that she's going to use a little money herself and is going off to restock her gear separate from the rest of you, unless someone wants to accompany her.
Jackalope would join her just to see what she does.
Cool. Does anyone else tag along with Honey, or are you all spending the clown accounts on your own things by going to your own shops?
I'd probably be spending on my own stuff. I also have the book. Where is it? Oh, the Dust for Dummies book. Does that mean that I'm essentially learning how to use or how to make my own dust as I'm buying and stuff like that?
Let's see. Yes. So you would be, that book basically allows you to gradually learn how to create dust or create dust substitutes, things that achieve the same effect but aren't literally made of the same material. So yeah,
Cool.
that. Let's see. It teaches the manufacturing, refinements, and applications for energy propellants. Yeah, if you wanted to spend some of your free time studying up on that, it would basically just mean like, boom, you're going to be able to learn more about its creation and things like that.
Yeah, so that's what I'll be doing.
Excellent. Okay. Katie, what do you plan on doing? Just doing your own thing?
I think Katie would go and modify her guns if they haven't been already, right?
Okay. Yeah, you are getting the guns modified. Do you plan on sticking near the guns the entire time, or do you want to go along with anybody else?
I think it depends on how long the guns take.
It's going to take like all day to get you. You requested some pretty substantial changes.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
money is no object, but time waits for no one.
Yeah, and in which case I think Katie would probably uh freaking retreat to the shadows and be like, I have ideas.
Okay.
Heelys
I
off.
can imagine her backing away into shadows. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, the only thing illuminated would be the silhouette of her eyes in the darkness and the silhouette of her Heelys as well. As she slowly slides off screen.
I think I saw a trail of glitter. Wait, where's...
So Hunter's on his own. Katie is off doing her own thing. Jack is going with Honey. Lynn, where are you headed? Just do your own thing, going along with Honey, or anything else?
I think I'll hang out with Hunter. Shop
Okay.
stuff, looking at things.
Okay.
Nice.
You'll spend your time with Hunter as he studies the book on dust refinements and manufacturing.
Yep. I know that like going with Honey might bring up more stuff, and then remembering what had happened in that war we just came from. She's like, I'm just gonna not think too much right now and save that for later.
Yeah, reliving that trauma would probably be a bit difficult for Lynn.
So I need a brain rest.
Jack, you end up going along with Honey. She, for the most part, her first target areas to hit are related to weaponry. She gets a couple of things like whetstones for sharpening blades, replacing some really old, gnarled-looking things that she must have been using for a long time inside of the City of the Hunt, as well as picking up a... At first, she goes into the shop and everything seems normal till she puts an odd request in for something in some foreign language, you'd guess. You don't recognize the name at all. And the person instead brings out what appears to be a selection of alternative products. It's poisons. Things like abnormal neurotoxins. But as the whole spiel is being given out, it's clear these are specifically for fighting against Grim, which is all Honey seems focused on. She looks over the items. Let's see. Yes, this one right here. It will make a Grim howl in agony. One drop ruins everything about their existence for at least an hour. Difficult to get inside of them, certainly. I can smell it from a mile out. But it works. And she seems to be carefully analyzing the toxins. She does. She kind of shifts through, kind of looking over the gnarled-looking knife that she keeps with her at all times, before she shrugs and declines purchasing any of them, citing that the craftsmanship doesn't quite match up to the level that she wants. The guy looks a little bit unhappy about that phrasing, but ultimately nods. And she instead chooses to replenish her stock of dust rounds and things like that. So, you plan on buying anything around here?
Maybe grab a poison. I don't know.
Well,
to be fair, I have my own supply of stuff.
That's fair. Well, the stuff right there is good stuff. It's just I'm a little spoiled when it comes to poisons.
That's
Down in
fair.
Strav, we got the best stuff around. So, but nothing to scoff at. This stuff.
To be fair, it's kind of hard to apply that to a fist weapon and actually, do anything. Unless I
get
catch him
that.
with the corner of the fist and cut with the corner, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Could turn into a gas though, but they have to, breathe for that.
Yeah,
Maybe
Grim don't exactly got them. Like the Grim around here don't exactly have respiratory organs.
yeah, makes it kind of hard to care about a poison. By the
Yeah.
way, what's with the language?
Oh, it's an old phrase that we use down in Strav. It is literal nonsense, but you say that phrase and folks in Strav know that you're from, meaning that you can get access to certain kinds of shops around here. It's basically it's a way of identifying that we hate the Grim as much as anyone.
That's fair. By
See.
the way,
Hmm?
what do you know about the Southern Vales? I believe you said something about what was it again?
Yeah, that place is my home. I grew up down in there. Though, like I said, we don't call it. We folks who live in there don't call it Southern Vales. We call it Strav.
Right.
It's Southern Vale is kind of like the whole area there. Strav is it's like the big village. It's like y'all don't call this place like Sanus. Y'all call this place Vacuo.
Fair. Is there anything I should be prepared for when we go down there?
Her jaw kind of clicks. Yes and no. See, I can't exactly explain why, but I can tell you flat out. You don't eat after dark. And if you do, whatever you're eating better be lethal.
Why?
Can't exactly explain why.
I mean, a big Grim that hides in the tree that looks like a tree and then it moves or something?
No, none that simple. No. If I heard that there was Grim hiding in the trees, I'd assume that you're coming right out of Vale, not Strav. Knowledge is a certain kind of power, but it ain't. But that power ain't just in the hands of those who know it. Sometimes that knowledge is a power that belongs to the ones you know about. Sometimes you don't want to know its name. You know?
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Anything else I should be aware of? I believe you mentioned something about. What was it again? No, you outside of character. My brain's forgetting. I know there was a word related to like Straub and the Southern Vales, but I don't remember. Something to do with like being in the woods.
Let's see. I know offhand that there's the call.
Yeah, what is the call?
Oh. So basically anyone who grew up in Strav, who spent their formative years there, we have this thing we go through. Like no matter how far we get from Strav, we still it's like we're still there. There's this itch in the back of our head that tells us that we need to be coming back. That tells us it's home. Makes us uncomfortable elsewhere. It doesn't fit. So what ends up happening is we get these flashes in our skulls, like we need to get back, that's where we belong. It's hard to put into words, but we go around, and near every day for me, back before I arrived in the hunt, I knew I had to come back eventually. I had to go back, and I have to go back, and I have to do the good work. Just gotta keep going. And same thing happens to all of us. Those that found it formative there, we just knew that Strav is the one place we belong. We get flashbacks to the moments in our formative times. We remember them. And we feel that pull. We call it the call because it's like Strav's calling us back into the forests. Back towards the things that make it their home.
So you basically got a beacon in your brain that tells you go home.
Kinda, yeah. It's not constant or nothing, but the longer we go without, like, if we do something that reminds us of home, it gets quiet for a little bit. Like, it was damn near silent when I was in the city of the hunt, because it was like a home away from home. Constant hunting, you know, every moment being a fight just to survive. Like, it was like I was back there. But then, fight's over. I'm out of that place. I didn't sleep on the. I'm not going to be sleeping well tonight. I mean, because the call's back. I'm not in the thick of it. I'm not fighting, and my brain's telling me peacetime ain't right. That's not where you belong. You don't belong there. And the only place I know of, now that the city is gone, the only place I'm going to get that feeling back, that's going to be home.
Gotcha. By the way, how did you end up in that city?
Oh, simple as I was so there was a patrol thing. You know, I was interacting with some hunters, and I got like a request is like, "Oh, y'all are going there? I'd love to go hunt down some grim. Like that sounds like a good old time." Uh, so I just tagged along and went with. Turns out they're pretty desperate for all sorts of help a lot of the time, but I don't regret my decision. But I'm quite certain a couple of the hunters do. The ones that are still alive, at least. A couple of them didn't make it to the city. So, those ones. Well, they're resting in pieces. Enough said.
Fair enough.
Afraid it's not the most interesting story.
Drac shrugs. It's not like it isn't interesting. It's as interesting as anything else that goes on.
That's fair. If it gets a good work done, ain't nothing wrong with it.
Anything else you can tell me that we need to be ready for past, don't eat after dark?
I guess outside of the eating thing. Oh, if it starts snowing, don't stop moving.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of this stuff feels like common sense to me, so it's a bit hard for me to be able to give like specifics outside of the situations. Because like, obviously, to me, it's like, don't eat after dark. That's so ingrained into what I am that, like, the first time that I was in the city, like when I was in that city of the hunt, it's perpetual night. I had so many days where the only thing that I could eat was absolute lethal poison. Like, anything else, and my skin would crawl like I wanted to rip it off my body. Just trying to choke down a couple of grapes, it felt like I was gonna just fall apart. So it's that kind of common sense for me. But like I said, I told y'all, I am happy to like guide you through and give you advice as we come across it. Like, I don't got the answers for everything. Nobody's got the answers for everything. Not down there, but I can tell you what I can help out what I can. You know? Just get. She reaches into her pocket and pulls out a flask. You might want to get used to the taste of this earlier rather than later.
Jack takes it, pops it open, takes a sip.
Okay. Go ahead and just roll an endurance roll.
Always a good thing to hear.
Oof.
Oh yeah, what's he drinking?
You're not entirely sure what you were expecting, but you are unable to keep it in your mouth. You would describe it as a mix between moonshine and the most potent rat poison you have ever experienced. You would rather wash your mouth out with drums than put that in your mouth again.
What kind of poison are you drinking?
It's some kind of neurotoxin, or normally it's supposed to be anyway. I make sure that this one's cut down a little bit so that worst case scenario, if you have a bit too much, it's gonna end up just kind of compromising a little bit of limb functionality. You ain't gonna lose no fingers or nothing though. She just takes a swig from it and grimaces as she does.
And you're drinking this? Why?
Because it ain't food.
Fair enough.
Yeah, you can't eat food after dark. She lifts it up as in cheers to you before sealing it up.
All right, then.
Don't worry, it'll make sense. Oh, and one more thing. My recommendation before we go in there: if you like a meal, there's a certain kind of food you like, eat it here. Eat it good. There's not a lot of variety when it comes to food inside of Strov. So, even during the daytime, you're not gonna be experiencing like a steak or something like that.
Jack just quietly stares. You ever eat rations? Specifically MRE rations, the kind that like never goes bad?
Well, I don't think that I have, but it sounds kind of similar to what we got in Strov.
Then I'll be perfectly fine.
Cool. Yeah. Sounds to me like you are surprisingly prepared for Strov just from whatever's going on inside with your whole thing. You might fit just right in.
Maybe, and or I may stick out like a sore thumb.
As long as you don't stick out in the eyes of the Grim, you're fine. If you're a little different amongst the rest of the hunters down there, like if you do the good work, then we will celebrate your differences. Simple as.
I mean, as long as it's entertaining, that's all I care about.
Well, it ain't usually boring. I'll give you that.
Jack just sitting there quietly, man, this is gonna get really interesting really quickly.
Yeah. Meanwhile, she goes around a couple of other shops, stocking up on a few items, notably rat poison and vodka. Alongside that, she just kind of treats her weapon and kind of is like, any shops you looking to go to, or you just good on your own?
He starts looking through his ammo. Probably a dust shop. Ooh, maybe a high explosive shop if there's one around. I do need to get some new big rounds. I kind of bore through them pretty hard.
All right. Well, I think I saw a dust shop nearby that it looked like they had like grenade launcher rounds inside their window, so I think that'll probably be big enough for you.
Yeah, should fit this. Taps his arm.
Yeah. Absolutely. I'll go ahead and lead the way, and let's get over there.
Yep.
Yeah. So you're able to get to the shop, and you're able to restock pretty easily. Are there any other things that you want to pick up that are of interest to you? Any ideas that you have for certain loadouts or anything like that?
Yes. See, explosive rounds, restock on dust. Probably napalm.
Casual.
Yeah. I mean, it's a pretty reasonable choice.
Napalm.
No, I was like the casual choice. You know, every Sunday I would get.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, that is a meow meow.
that's a vocal cat.
Yeah, that's a cat who's getting in front of my monitors and knows what she's doing.
Oh,
So she's getting
Aw.
the crap bugged out of her until she move. Well, move.
oh,
Go back to your spot.
oh, my mini kitty cat's in my arms right now on a pillow.
Oh,
Mine's making nuisance. Napalm. Mainly just anything that can cause fire.
Okie doke. Yeah. She does. Honey looks over your choice of like massive flame things and is like, "Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. Be careful. Not everything likes being lit on fire, in a bad way."
To be fair, I didn't think I'd like being lit on fire, but it happened, and I lived, and nothing happened to me. So you know what? If something grabs me, I know what I can do. Kind of that's what this is for. This is self-protection.
All right. Makes sense. Makes sense.
I am not fireproof, by the way. It just somehow worked.
You don't need to be fireproof as long as you're fire resistant.
I'm fire something, all right?
Hey, as long as you're fire at will.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you restock all sorts of flame propellants, things like that. You got napalm on hand. You've got pretty much liquid gasoline, anything that can be used as an accelerant for a flame. In addition to flame dust rounds, you've got loaded up on the Clown account now.
Cool.
Katie, you asked in the general chat, reminds me, I wonder if I can restock stuff like my yeses and my dust while I'm at my stuff. Absolutely. You separated from the rest of the group. You swung around in the shadows. You met up with your yes dealer. She's like, I can
ran
give you
out.
what you're looking for. You ran out.
Mm-hmm.
It must
That
have
was
been
pretty
quite
crazy.
the party.
Oh yeah, it was something. All right.
Oh, I
I
believe
need
you.
more.
You need more. You're not
Need
the
good
first to
stuff.
come into my shop telling me they need another hit. I can get you what you want, what you need, if you have the supply.
Mm-hmm.
You still on the Clown account?
Oh yeah.
Then I do believe we have a deal.
Give me the good stuff, mister.
Jared,
Oh,
no.
yes, yes, yes. You are supplied with a absurd amount of glitter, amongst other horrible, horrible things. But most notably amongst it is that thanks to just using the door at the front area, you're able to just bring the yeses into your warehouse. So, everything's going to be going pretty smoothly, you think. All things considered, you probably won't even have to use a yes on any of the Grim. After all, they're so friendly, aren't they?
So friendly. Yeah, my glitter, my dust, my bullets. I mean, I might want some grenades or something.
Okay.
But yeah, aside from that, aside from my usuals, I think I'm good.
Okay. You're able to restock your weapon supply as well. You now have a yes yourself.
Oh shoot! I forgot. I need to make a better way to store my Grim.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the kind of a bag that they can fit into.
Yeah.
You're on the Clown account, so you can definitely set that up. My recommendation here would probably be that you're going to put in the order, and they're going to build you a custom thing, and you're going to pick it up after the Strav arc. That way you have that there. It's going to be able to hold on to your Grim, and yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. I hope I just hope my Grim will survive like straw, because I know like it's gonna get crazy, and I know my jacket hasn't always proved reliable.
Well, I'll tell you right now that Strav is quite the locale.
Mm-hmm.
So, we'll see. Plus,
Yeah.
a bag is not necessarily going to be any better protection. Like, it'll
Yeah.
work fairly well, but if something is actively attacking them, well, we'll see. We'll see.
I
We'll
don't
see.
know. I'll get like a pouch for my belt or something for Danger Noodle.
Okay.
My birdie can protect himself pretty well. He's pretty mobile, but Danger Noodle's just a baby, so.
Understandable. Yeah, Danger Noodle, fortunately at this point, is a lot more recovered compared to back during where you were getting shredded by the with the like the pin cushion that you put inside of your coat. He's looking a lot better.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of, what happened to the little prickly guy? I forgot. Did he
You
die?
transported him into your area.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay.
You haven't checked on him since.
Yeah,
doing?
I should probably do that.
He's probably eating some mysterious or strange bun.
Oh, he better not have gotten into my parfait a la Defiance of God.
You get inside of your warehouse and look around, and sure enough, you do spot him. He's currently seated inside, like still in pincushion mode, and looking. You're not entirely sure how. Actually, let's go ahead and christen our new system with first roll. Now that I think about it, go ahead and
Alright.
roll Abyssal Cuties.
Oh, second roll.
Okay.
That's okay.
Let's see,
second
what was...
Jack.
Oh right, yeah. It'll be the-
right.
I forgot that. I forgot that he spat out the rat poison.
It's okay. Oh, maybe I should have been silent.
Right. I have 4 ticks, so remind me how much I'm rolling again?
You get to roll 4d6, and you get a bonus dice.
Okay, so that's 5 in total.
Yes.
Okay. What do we got? That's 1 degree of success.
Did
Yeah,
it.
that is a degree of success. So
Good
you're
job.
able to get the vibe that he's confused and feels out of place. But
Mhm.
beyond that, you're not able to get a good read on anything. It seems that unlike a lot of the other Grimm, this one is not hyper developed to the points of being able to converse and the like.
Mhm.
Instead, it's
Understood.
closer in intelligence to Fluffy was than Morky.
Mhm. Okay. All right. All right. In which case, I'm going to like slowly approach him, just like in like a way you would like approach like a stray cat or something. Say, hey, it's okay. You're all right. You're safe. All right. I'm not gonna hurt you. It's gonna
He
be
still
okay.
looks confused, but he's not as hostile as he was before.
Mhm. Okay. I'm gonna. Okay, what do we have in my fridge?
Not much. You have the recipe for your concoction. You've got stuff you need to make that if you wanted to make that.
Oh no.
What are Grimm able to eat?
Not really. Like, they don't have the organs necessary for processing food and stuff like that. They don't normally eat. Doesn't necessarily
Mhm.
stop you from giving them treats, but they don't need to eat.
Okay. So I'm gonna make a parfait a la Defiance of God.
Sounds
Okay,
about
and if
right for a
you can
Grimm.
just go ahead and remind me of the ingredients on that.
It's been a while, but if I recall right, so it starts with milk, and then you put in. No, wait, no. It was cranberry juice with chocolate milk powder with whipped cream and a cherry on top.
Yeah, the
Oh.
cranberry juice with the chocolate milk powder doesn't exactly feel good, but it is what it is.
I'm so curious.
It ends up tasting the concoction and kind of slurping it up before an entire full body shudder courses through the thing. It kind of stops there. It just looks around. You have confused it even more, but not necessarily in a bad way. It doesn't have taste buds like humans do, so it's not exactly experiencing the exact flavor profile that you've described, which is for the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does seem slightly more relaxed around you.
Mm-hmm. And I'll do the parfait a la Defiance of God. It really really gets me acquainted with everybody that I try to befriend. You know.
Okay.
Funnily enough,
It is Jumpchain.
on the image, on the character sheet, just below the classified thing, it has like that thing's like everything that Dr. Henderson isn't allowed to do at the Foundation. One of those is
Is not
Dr.
allowed
Henderson.
to make. I can actually see it. Yeah, Dr. Henderson is not allowed to make the drink. Parfait a la Defiance of God.
Nice detail though.
Yeah. Well,
So yeah, you are. It seems more relaxed now. You're able to kind of put it into the research thing in order to examine it, since it is a weird grim as well.
mhm.
Additionally, you also just have that loose arm.
Right. Yeah. I think I put that in, right?
Yes, it's already finished
Yeah.
its whole process of examination, so you just kind of have the arm there. It's not
Mhm.
falling apart the way that most would, just like it did avoided falling apart before.
Mhm. Okay. What does the med bay say? Is there a gauge or something of how much it needs before I can figure out all its stuff or
It's giving a loose approximation that it says it's probably about 30 to 40% of the way done with the things that you've supplied. You'll need some more weird grim if you want to be able to finish it off, though.
Mm, okay. Can I put Morgie's the heart thing in it?
Yes, absolutely.
Mhm.
That will begin its process as well.
Okay. I'm gonna put that in there and be like, all right now, Mr. Pincushion, you're not allowed to touch the heart in there while it's doing all its stuff, okay?
The pincushion pins bristle slightly, but not in a bad way. You get the vibes that it's more confused than anything else, but it's not going to be attacking Morgiana's heart.
Mm-hmm. Where's the goose? I don't think I saw him since I left him, right?
That is correct. He should be somewhere inside of the warehouse.
Mm-hmm. All right.
You look around for him.
Yeah. So like, hey, the goose.
Yeah.
Are
You
you
search
off
for
to
him
this
about
time?
a minute or two until you can actually hear a honking from outside of the warehouse doors.
Ooh.
Poking your head
Oh.
out, you can see that he's currently engaged in conversation with the shopkeep who supplied you with the yeses. It's like, fascinating. Really? I had never thought that Nardvar could be capable of such things.
You can
Oh, hello.
understand the
Sorry.
goose?
I was having a lovely conversation with your companion here.
I can tell. Not many
Yes.
people are able to understand understand them. Very impressed.
There's a little bit of a language barrier, but once I figured out what Glocktopus meant, it all started falling into place.
Of course. Yeah. Telling you all about his backstory.
Yes. I believe he labeled it. He says that his is a tale known as goose crimes.
Mm,
Don't worry, I'm not going to rat him out to the authorities.
of course. Yeah. Better not.
Yes. Don't worry. I'd rather not get into a fight with someone who recently purchased multiple yeses. It'd be a shame if I'd have to show you what a no is like.
There's a no.
For legal reasons, no.
The joke.
All right. Is
Oh,
the
I
goose
slay
making any
myself.
purchases?
Oh,
That
yes.
should be
I'm not
alright.
sure where he got the credit card from, but it scanned. It worked. So, if his money spends good here, my goods are for him as well. The goose lets out a loud, and clearly is carrying a satchel next to him.
Since when did you have a credit card? What did you buy? Fair enough. Yeah.
Bitch, you don't know what I do on my days off.
If you'd like to roll a sense, you can try to understand him.
I love the idea that I actually have no idea what he's saying.
Yeah, you usually just go by vibes and context clues. If you want to ask a specific question like "What did you buy?" then you have to roll, because there is a language barrier in the way.
Fair enough. How much do I roll on a 0?
On a 0, you roll 1d6, but you only succeed on a 6.
Oh no.
Yeah, I have no idea what you just.
You have no idea what he just said, but what you do know is you feel an odd sense of foreboding coming from that satchel.
Fair enough. I
Has
won't
she
cry.
only met? Have you only met the goose in this world?
Yeah, I only met him when I got to Ruby.
Oh, I was like, okay.
He has just as mysterious origins as I do.
It's backstory.
Fair enough. Well, I won't pry. Whatever you bought, I hope you use it with I don't know, goose.
He tips his head respectfully towards you and then waddles his way back inside of the warehouse.
It's
An
perfect.
angel in
Noodle.
Canadian feathers.
Sometimes you meet interesting folks in this line of work, I must say.
Yeah.
Oh well. Was there anything else I could get you?
Not that I know of.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, do you have any more of those Grem plushies?
I think I might.
Ooh.
Yeah, ducks underneath, and he pulls out there's like, did I already get you one of these? And he raises up a plush King Tajitu.
No, I don't remember what the one he got me was. I want to say it was like a wolf-like thing.
Yes, a
Okay.
Beowulf, yes.
Yeah. I'm amassing a collection.
Understandable. Well, here you go. He tosses you the King Tajitu, the two-headed snake that Danger Noodle happens to also be a race of. It's a little bit bigger than Danger Noodle in its plush form.
Oh, this is gonna look so cute next to Danger Noodle. Sure, I'll love it. All right.
Well, with that said, is there anything else I can get you? You didn't mention where you're going.
I am going to the Southern Vales. I believe that's what it's called.
Oh, yes, Strav. It's an eternity in there. Sorry, just having a tragic flashback of my own.
Yeah, I hear you get lost in there longer than you think.
Much longer than you think. But as long as you have an escape plan, all will be well. Just remember, don't be afraid.
I never am.
That's not good, actually.
So I've heard.
If you don't know what fear is like, it becomes exceedingly difficult to control it when you experience it.
Well, I'm sure I felt fear before. I just don't know what it specifically is.
Well, I will wish you only the best. But just be careful. Strav is not a place for the... How to put this? Strav is not kind. Very few people are the sorts who will buy a plush of a Grim. I don't know how to put this well, but steel yourself, Miss Henderson.
I'll try. Thank you.
No problem.
I'm gonna head out.
Of course. You have a wonderful time down in Strav. Don't worry too much. Worry is the enemy. Not just because it can get you killed, but worse. It'll give you crow's feet. Ta.
Yeah. You too. I think.
With that, you separate. Then we'll cut back to Hunter and Lynn. Hunter, you've been researching these notes. You've been taking a close look at them, and what you can confidently say is that you're a lot better off in terms of your knowledge. As long as you have access to some form of dust, you're fairly confident that you can reproduce it almost infinitely inside of your warehouse. Which, in your case, isn't too hard. You have a restock kit, which will get you your basic flavors of dust.
Cool.
So
I'm just gonna stockpile them essentially, and then start remaking them.
Okay. And then you will have full access to the raw materials of dust. In terms of turning it into other materials, such as like actually making bullets, that's a totally different experience. But you now have infinite dust.
Nice.
In regards, it still takes time to produce, but basically infinite.
Just kind of looking over at Lynn while I am kind of fiddling around with the book and with a bunch of different, types of dust on the ground and stuff. Probably inside little containers. Just kind of looking at her and just like, so. It's very odd that you're not terrified. I'm not used to being around people who aren't terrified of me.
Um, I think it's just the new environment. Uh, to be honest, I'm not exactly. Of course, I'm not. Well, this is very new, everyone. I don't exactly know anybody like any of you. Um, but I've been trying, so I hope I haven't offended you when I've been in your presence or anything.
No, it's a nice change of pace, honestly. We're in the academy, it's usually a kind of alone, aside from your mentor taking you through lost steps. Usually by the time we get to, well, where we are now, we get put into a team of 4, which I guess is technically you lot, strange
Right?
as is.
Coincidence
But,
that.
yeah. But before that, you're usually alone with your mentor. And half the time my mentor was one of the few folks who, like to see what I was capable of. Everyone else, well, I'm bigger than they are, I'm scarier than they are, and I can throw them several hundred feet. They, don't take kindly to that, typically speaking. So,
Well, I can definitely attest to having seen you thrown someone, someone that far.
so usually they're kind of afraid of me, so I don't tend to be around most folks. You're... He kind of like looks you over for a second. Significantly smaller than I am, and usually that makes them, want to be as far from me as possible so I don't squish them. But you... I don't know. You ain't afraid. It's very strange.
Mm.
Didn't you say you were a
I
student or something?
college student, yes,
Hmm,
and the academy,
interesting.
and
Are you
I've definitely
normally
seen no
around
one as tall
folks
as
who are
you.
3 times your size?
No, no. Um, I suppose it's just getting through it. Um, it's kind of like an exam that doesn't end. Just gotta have to figure out how to deal with it, I suppose.
Yeah, it's
I
fair.
try.
You seem a little bit out of your depth, I'll be honest.
I wouldn't be surprised by that. I won't lie.
Well, if it helps any, Jackalope will try to get himself killed. Katie will throw herself into a line of fire every single time, it seems, but I'll make sure that I'm the one who gets hit first instead of you by any bullets that come your way.
Uh, there's the concerned look that goes over her face as she kind of chuckles, but uh,
Hey, I'm able to at least physically tank it. Well, you've been hit by, yeah, kind of counts on his fingers. What, 3, 4 things so far? And I'm pretty sure you've been out every single time. 1 through your wings, 2 through your wing. How many times have your wings gotten hit?
ooh,
I feel like your wings been hit a lot.
it's not exactly comfortable.
Yeah. Well, if you stay behind me, they'll hit me first.
As much as I don't want that to happen, I do appreciate it.
He
And
just kind of shrugs.
as much as people that I've never been with before in social circles, you and group that I have is not half bad. Not the worst that I can imagine, or maybe not yet.
Well, it's definitely an odd group for sure. I'm not used to being around folks in general, aside from a mentor, but I assume most are not like Jackalope or Katie. Namely, that most people don't throw themselves willingly into a pile of fire. Or a mountain. Or a building. Or several.
Right. And it seems a bit common over here.
Yeah. It's also being noticed that we haven't really killed a whole lot of enemies lately. Grim, those angel things, animals in general. It's not a whole lot of hunting going on.
Well, this is true. She looks off to the side a bit uncomfortable. I suppose we haven't had that many enemies.
Yeah. He just kind of like pulls out his gun and starts like pulling it apart to clean it. And it's like his gun's is like bigger than he is practically. It's a big gun. And now that you get to like properly see it, like right next to him, like really nicely, it's like a 7-foot long gun. And like he's already huge. I think I have him at like 6'8", if I recall correctly. So he's already like massive, and his gun is still bigger than he is. So he like puts it down in front of him, like pulls it apart, starts cleaning out the various sections of it. And he's just going about his business.
Lene takes a moment as we're just kind of sitting in silence for a little bit, and says, "I've been kind of concerned about getting through this. I, it's a bit different and difficult for me. These ones, but I appreciate it very much that you said that you'll be helping in battles."
You seem like a competent individual. You aren't headstrong, you aren't seeking to get yourself killed at the expense of others, so... It's definitely an interesting change of pace. If you want to get through it, you got two options. Your first option is either throw yourself at everything and anything and hope you survive it. It's kind of what we've been doing. Your second option is to weigh your advantages versus your disadvantages and find the best path through. I ain't that smart of a folk. Never have been, never will be. I hunt. That's why I enjoy, and I can usually follow patterns, I can hunt down tracks of animals, and I can learn how they hunt and how they maneuver and how they move, but that's about as far as my planning goes. That's why I don't do well against most other humans. But you seem to be a smart girl, so you probably are gonna be having a better time picking the second option than the first.
Actually, she has this contemplative face, and then slowly her eyes are widening. Would you be able to help me with my battle plans? I really don't know what to do when I start getting into fights, and I think that I might need to step it up.
Sure. He kind of like puts his gun back together now it's cleaned and stands up. And he's like, well, the first thing you have to learn, adrenaline. When you get into a battle and things start attacking you and flying over you and you have a monster breathing down your neck, your very first instinct is to go crazy. It's just stop thinking and rely purely on your muscles and, your movements and pure fight or flight. You're a bit too fragile for that. You do that, you stop thinking, you probably are going to die. So you gotta train yourself to be able to think, even when stressed. So what you got currently? I know you got your weird gravity orb things. You've used it a couple of times now, I think.
Right. Well, some things have, well, I'd say out of us, some things have changed, and I was still going over some other things I wanted to look at. I'll say like before that, like, here's some things that I'm thinking about, and then I'll kind of break the fourth wall. For the DM, Corin,
Meowdy.
I was wondering, if I could take off. There's some what are they called? Skills, things I've purchased from RWBY
Perks.
that you can do. Perks, yes, that I haven't used at all. One of them is Kids Will Be Kids with the AP checks towards someone older than you for the purpose of convincing them you aren't overly threat or responsible. I have another one that kind of matches that. So I was wondering if I could take it off and use the
Um,
100.
I'm gonna say yes on the grounds that you haven't used that ability at all thus far, so it's not really super relevant.
Yeah. And because it says this, that you aren't an overly threat, I have another one that says friends you haven't met it, right? So then it's just make the person think that I'm being friendly with them, trying to be friendly.
Yeah, well,
Like,
it's to make people like you.
yeah. Okay.
But yeah, 100%.
Cool.
Go ahead and shuffle that around if you like.
Yeah. So with the 100, I was going to put more stuff on weapons because I was wondering what does HED, what is it called? Hyper
It's that.
Inklings of Priests.
Yeah, that's that one that makes it so that its other forms are stronger.
What does that do for like ballistic and the either shoot faster or shoot harder? Do I just get like the next point up?
Um,
Like fully automatic or bullet penetration?
Let me take a look inside of that thing. See, looking at it in range ballistic. So for bullet penetration,
Let's say I get one of bullet penetration because I need that. And then
yeah, I would say that it would move you up automatically to the next stage.
stage. Can I have bullet penetration and fully automatic? But what does fully automatic mean if I get one of that and then hyper goes on?
So basically, it means that your firing rate goes up. You purchase one of them, and you can fire at a rate of 900 rounds per minute. If you pick it up, and since you have your other thing that allows it to be common object, the hyper efficient design, that means that it'll move up to, I missed it. There it is. Basically, you get 3,000 rounds per minute on that ranged thing.
Does that mean 2 attacks for the gun for fully automatic?
So I don't think it would necessarily
Open my
qualify as like
pages.
2 attacks, but it would mean that. So actually, I'm trying to think about it. So 3,000 rounds per minute, but your thing is styled after a sniper rifle.
Mhm. Maybe it doesn't work because it's kind of one, but
Yeah, I'm just trying to think like so.
I
In
mean,
terms of,
there is an AK-50.
yeah, I'm just thinking about like, let's see. Yeah, you know what? I'll say that if you get if you purchase fully automatic, it will let you make 2 attacks in a single round, but for so I'm trying to think of a way to because if it's just straight up doubling your number of attacks, that's like really strong. But you know what? If it ends up being too strong, we'll worry about that when it happens.
okay.
So yes, picking up a rank of fully automatic alongside your hyper efficient design will mean that you can make 2 ranged attacks in a turn. Specifically, if you choose to shoot your gun, you can choose to shoot your gun a second time, but that's only if you choose to use your action on firing your gun.
Can I have my actions and then my gravity wells? I was thinking in essence of what my turn would look like for attacking, and I can maybe like put down a little list because I made like a little notepad.
Yeah. So your turn is usually broken up into 3 types of actions. The smallest of which is is the free actions. It's really small stuff that doesn't really count towards your turn, but it's just neat. We can disregard that. But then there's your primary action and your secondary action. Your primary action usually refers to things that you have to physically do with your body. things such as launching an attack. Oh no, that's a terrible thing. The best way to parallel it would probably be your attack action and your move action inside of D&D, where with your attack action, if you choose to attack, you can make multiple attacks. But if you choose not to attack, you can't get multiple attacks off that. You can't be like, oh, I'll do an action and also use my extra attack, because that's only when you're attacking.
Mhm.
Meanwhile, your secondary action is things like using your semblance or your movement. It's supplementary stuff that isn't your primary like attack or things like that. So in terms
So
of your
movement.
turn, oh, what'd you say?
Oh, in terms of your turn, go ahead.
Yeah, in terms of your turn, it would mean that, for example, if you wanted to move around and also attack, you could do that. Using your secondary action, you could move around physically or use your semblance to shuttle you around thanks to gravity, and your primary action could be spent on attacking. And since you chose to attack with your gun for your primary action, you would take 2 shots. And that's
and also the damaging now for 1 gravity well? Can I do damage with gravity wells and shoot the 2 at the same time because it's gravity? If I'm not moving?
I think that... Oh, that's a really good question. I'm trying to think on whether or not that should qualify as a primary action, since it is a direct attack, offensive attack action being taken. But at the same time, like, it makes sense.
Because
If you're
I
able to
don't
use your semblance to move, if
Yeah.
you're able to use your semblance as a secondary action, then it should make sense to be able to do an attack off that.
Right. And would it be like just 1 dice of attack for gravity? Because it's 1 gravity well for 1 damage, and then you shoot in the same, but you can't move or something?
I would personally probably rule it as you can attack and use your secondary attack, or you can attack and use your gravity well, or you can attack and one of those 2 plus movement.
One of the 2, and movement, or both
thing is,
no
so
movement?
specifically, it's that as long as she's using her gun, she gets a second shot,
Mhm.
and that's a factor of her weapon itself,
Yes.
not of her
Oh.
specific abilities. So
Okay.
as long as she's using the gun, it can shoot twice. I'm going to say tentatively that you can use your semblance as an attack action as part of your secondary thing. But if it turns out that you're able to dish out some insane damage by doing 3 attacks every turn, I'm probably going to nerf it later. It depends on how it feels. But the only way to know how it feels is to give it a shot.
Could we say, could we try it? Because I don't know if I want to go into like the danger zone and be like, I don't know how to attack. Let's say that I'm on the first one that I'm not going to move, and I'm going to use semblance to attack. Is there?
So then,
Let's say 1 gravity well, right? Instead of, because I have 2 of them. Would I be able to use 2 gravity wells and
I
shoot?
would say no to that. If you're using multiple gravity wells simultaneously to do things, I'd say that is a primary action, not a secondary action.
Okay. If I have 4 dice in semblance, what is my dice to either to shoot and to damage?
So you'd be taking 2 shots, meaning that you'd make 2 of your dex rolls.
Oh, right. Okay. So you shoot.
Yeah, so you have 2 dex rolls and a supernatural roll with bonus dice on your supernatural roll.
Wait. Trying to- So let's just say that you shoot first, right? So just to dex to attack, and then for shooting, it's 1d6 per shot usually.
It's going to be based on how many hit. So, for example, if you're basically rolling 2 attack actions, and when they hit, you deal damage. So, like, what's your dex right now?
3.
Okay. So then, in this hypothetical, you would miss with your first shot, but you would hit with your second shot. And so your second shot would deal, like, 1d6. And then you have 4 supernatural, 4d6 plus 1d6 there, and then substitute out that 1, but then it ends up being a 0. So in an optimal situation, you'd be hitting 3 times. But yeah, I assume it'll self-regulate somehow.
Okay.
But that's pretty much how your turn. If you wanted to spend your entire turn on offensive actions, then that's how it would look. You'd roll two dex-based attack actions as well as one supernatural attack action. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 2 deck, 2 attack.
Okay. Well, we're running a little low on time for the session, so I am going to pivot into the next portion.
Mhm.
So the next part, the group all reconvenes. You're all going to want to get some rest before going out on the adventure, and as a result, you're all stayed up inside of the dorm. That's the word I was looking for. Dorm room. Inside of there, you're all able to rest. As I recall, Jack made himself a small little alcove by slamming 2 beds together and then climbing in between them.
Yep. He doesn't sleep any other way. Somebody tries to pull a bed away, he's gonna slowly grab it, look you dead in the eye, drag it back, and go back into the alcove. You do.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It
For our
takes a little
car
bit
ride-
for... Oh, what's up?
If our car, I think Katie just like sleeps on the floor with her Grim, and then the goose takes her bed.
Understandable. The goose is a
Mhm.
powerful, powerful being. Never to be underestimated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, as you all drift off to sleep, one at a time, after a little while, you're all standing there. It's kind of a wide open area and you seem to be kind of on an uplifted stage. You describe the area around you as being a savanna, and yet smack dab in the middle of the savanna is clearly what's designed to be like a stage for reciting a play on. And all of you are currently standing atop it with only a single seat in front of the area. It's ornate, it's lavish, it's plush as can be, and it's got someone currently seated right in the center, a familiar figure that each of you have met once before. I see that you're seeking to take on my challenge.
Oh my gosh, hi! It's so long!
Nice to see you again.
Yes. Lovely to see all of you. I extended that offer some time ago in regards to the exploration of a certain region. And it's come to my attention that you're seeking to make an attempt at it.
I mean, we would have gone like earlier, but we kind of got like super held up, you know? I'm sure
Okay.
you saw.
Yes, it was certainly interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But now the question becomes, is this what you want? Is this your desire? To do a challenge in exchange for a reward? To break the narrative a little bit and just see something new?
I mean, that's what we came here for, right?
Well, that certainly is what you came here for.
Oh,
And you,
right.
he nods to Hunter. And you, and nods to Jack. One of you did have a certain other goal that you were looking to achieve. But I'm not here to provide spoilers.
Mm.
I will grant you a reward if you're able to make it through. But I suppose it's... You have to understand. It's not going to be simple or easy. There will be certain limitations imposed upon you within the confines of that area. I will very much make it a challenge. It's not going to be easy, nor clean, nor convenient, nor comfortable.
You gonna take away our semblances or something?
No,
miss
you'll still
my
have
grim.
those.
Oh.
You won't, don't worry, you won't be missing the Grim. That much I can assure you of. It's simply that there are certain rules and stipulations that you'll have to discover for yourself as time goes along. I'm not going to give you the rundown on all of the challenge and all the details so that you can spend your entire time micromanaging the threats, so that you can think carefully on all of these elements, and by the time that you even reach Strav, you can confidently say, oh, I have already won within the theater of my mind. That's boring. But frankly, I want to watch you suffer your way to victory. I'm not interested in seeing you handily outsmart every threat tossed about to you. I want to see you fight as you fought against Mother Avalon. I want to see you struggle and make some sacrifices, maybe, if you're feeling spicy.
Mm.
Interesting.
I like to think I feel more sweet than spicy regularly, but that too.
I've seen the explosives you set off, little miss. Sweet. Perhaps you could get away with saturine.
Mm. So are the limitations like a surprise or
Yes.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
that's what I said.
Oh,
He looks to the rest of the group. I said that,
Ah.
right?
Fairly
You did.
confident.
Yeah, she's
Katie
not the
blinks
best at listening.
asynchronously.
You know what? You're lucky you're adorable.
Aww.
Now, your reward... No, your reward will also be a surprise. It's more fun that way. But go ahead and think on if there's anything that you'd like to request to make things easier in the long run. Benefits and boons and perks and all of those things. Or, if you'd like, his eyes start to one member of your team in particular for only a moment. If you'd like any information on something from your own world, or an item that you may have left behind, or a tool that you're aware of that was never yours, but that you'd like to have in your possession, think on that. I don't guarantee that I can get you everything that you've set out to look for, but your reward may be beneficial in your pursuits.
Lynn's eyes start sparkling.
So, with that, just be aware, within the Forest of Strahv, I will not fight fair. Don't be caught off guard by it.
We're fighting you?
I'm not gracing that with a response.
I think she's got some issues.
Give it a few dozen lifetimes, and I might choose to spar with you. It might make for a good, entertaining way to spend an afternoon. Right now? No. No, I don't think that's a good idea.
So what kind of attacks do you think he has? I mean, besides being sharply dressed and having a nice tie. Guys, we gotta think on this.
Pretty
was
sure the
flying,
whole
I think.
instant kill would be one of his moves.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
Actually, NSB. Mind if I ask you a quick question? Free to answer or not. Yes.
Go ahead and ask.
Are you sending us to a world jumpers have been before?
Well, I feel like it's not exactly been a secret. This world, yes. This world has previously been touched by the hands of a jumper. There's certain changes that were made as a result, certain interactions. Unfortunately, the jumper did a few things that left this place difficult to work with. I simply thought that it would be best to kill two birds with one stone. I was bored and wanted to watch something new, and I needed someone to clean up the mess that got left behind. I can't simply let that serpent continue sitting around with all that power. So, of course, I expected that one of you would make a pact with it. I can't say I'm surprised on how that went. But, well, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't expecting it to be someone else who made the agreement.
My bestest boy. Along with all my other bestest boys.
Yeah, I definitely feel like she has a few screws loose.
It
You're
adds
a
variety
robot,
to the party. But
I
yes,
think.
if you like, I can continue this habit of sending you to places that have already been there, but chances are, I'm just going to send you wherever I feel like.
Okay. I just wanted to confirm that a little bit of information, given our friend in our last bout seemed to know what a jumper was.
Yes. She wasn't exactly happy about it, was she?
Made it entertaining, at least.
Oh, certainly. Nonetheless, I appreciate you cleaning up the last one's mess for me. I think there's still a little bit more cleanup to be done, but you'll you'll understand when time comes. I'm not the sort to spoil my own fun.
Fair enough.
But before we progress, I have to ask clearly and definitively, considering the risks involved. As you know, if you die, you go back. It's the end of your journey. And where you're going is going to be incredibly difficult, incredibly dangerous. So, tell me, each of you, do you accept the challenge posed by the Strav and the Southern Vales?
I
Yes.
do.
I don't see why not.
If this was meant, if I wanted this to be easy, I wouldn't be here.
Good.
If we can we tap out in the middle?
No.
No takesy backsies. The rule of the gods.
No takesy backsies indeed. In the end, it's just a question of whether or not you think the risk is worth it. Tell me, Lynn, is what you are looking for worth risking your second life?
Images flash through her eyes as she takes a moment and then says, the words just more blurt out of her than anything else, and says, "Yeah, you're right. I agree."
Then the pact is made amongst wholly consenting parties. Raises his hand,
Yay.
snaps his fingers. Ashante. Let it
Ooh.
begin.
All
And with
right.
that, you all wake up with a buzz from all of your scrolls saying the ride is ready for you to take you to the outskirts of the Southern Vales. And
Nice.
that is where we're going to end the session for the day.
Very
Oh,
nice.
Nice.
concerned. Oh no.
Well, hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. If you guys did, feel free to look at our various content. We have Vods of Valhalla for various video game streams, as well as Tables of Tartarus. You guys can also check out Purgatory Corner on YouTube itself. We're going to be probably adding some stuff to that here soon once I get my new editing laptop, so I can actually figure out how to do all that stuff, and it's not burningly hot outside, because that's been killing us lately. But yeah, so go check out all that content. Go check out our Discord if you guys want to talk to us more. And I'm actually going to go ahead and do a raid here. And I'm going to do it on my friend, or not my friend, but somebody I follow called Sarah Nilla, because she is currently doing a Elden Ring stream. A streamathon day 51 apparently. Not really sure how that's going on. So we're going to pop over to that, or at least I'm going to try to here. Yeah, she's in mid-combat, so let's go ahead and do that raid. If you guys want to see that, feel free to pop over.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Once it lets me. Do 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 do. And right now. Alright.
Wow.
And it's rating. And